What's up, guys? Welcome to Box Football. And yes, Super Sunday was yesterday, guys. Jack was watching NFL, unfortunately. I actually watched it. Generally, from the point of view, in my opinion, that was the greatest Super Sunday I've seen in a long time. That might be the best I've ever seen. It was incredible. So much football, so many shocks. But let's get into the first one. And to me, probably the most, actually not, maybe not the most exciting one, but it definitely is exciting. Manchester United losing 6-1 at Old Trafford to Tottenham Hotspur. A returning Jose Mourinho comes and not just beats his old team, but smacks them up. Jack, tell me what you think about that.
So, yes, guys, unfortunately, I decided that I was going to watch the Leicester game and that I was going to watch the Arsenal game. And then I travelled back into London and my New Orleans Saints were playing the Detroit Lions at 6 o'clock. So I missed the Man United game. I missed the Spurs game. I watched the extended highlights this morning. So I was saying to James earlier, highlight, goal. It was the weirdest set of kind of extended highlights that I've seen in a long time. What I saw, first of all, I think it's interesting that this is what Tottenham did without Gareth Bale. I think that's saying a lot. Now, were United bad? Yes, unbelievably bad. But the Spurs team were very, very good. And it's with the addition of somebody like Bale, you just wonder what they could be, especially with a manager as intelligent as Jose Mourinho. The defending was horrible. Absolutely terrible. I think Maguire got kind of found out a little bit. Really did not look good. Did not look like he was worth £80 million, I'll tell you that. The Martial sending off, okay, I think, maybe we can agree. I think if I was a referee, maybe a warning for both players, a yellow card for both players, a red card for Lamela. I don't love that, but obviously the game totally changes from there. The mindset just totally fell off. And Tottenham thought they kind of smelt blood, boom. Goals. Son and Kane is such a dynamic partnership. Harry Kane coming in a little deeper as well and playing some passes. I really like the look of that as well. But yeah, Man United look absolutely lost at sea. And the reactions of the likes of Gary Neville and Patrice Evra just makes for really good football. Really good viewing.
Interesting. Very, very interesting from the point of view that I can come here and criticize Manchester United as much as I want to, but I really want to talk about Tottenham and Jose Mourinho. So Tottenham come out there. Mourinho sets his team out. He starts with Dumbia. Was it who's Højbjerg and Sissoko. So they went there to be compact and stop Manchester United and hit them on the break. They got 1-0 down in the first minute or 2 minutes of the game. Mourinho's not a score, and Mourinho's tactics are out of the water in the first 2 minutes. Yep. Usually a team right there will crumble and it gets a bit tough for them, especially at Old Trafford. Their ability to stay calm, build their way back into the game straight away, and then take the lead. And after that, to be honest, they should have been 3-4 up. They had chances upon chances to destroy Manchester United even before the sending off. That was brilliant on Mourinho's part. Totally outclassed Ollie, totally outclassed Manchester United. Now I can also come here and point fingers at Harry Maguire. I think we all know that he's not worth 80 million, but they had to pay the money at that time. I can come here and criticize Paul Pogba, the attack. But the fact of the matter is, you look at this Manchester United team, we spoke on how great they were last year, especially during lockdown. We said for them, what they have to do now is kick on. Bring in the sun to show their ambition to want a challenge. They haven't done that, Jack.
The one thing I will say, and this is going to be my kind of headline point throughout the whole video, we need to stop being prisoners of the moment. Not we as in you and me, but generally as football viewers, people need to stop being prisoners of the moment. And what I mean is, Alex Telles comes in at fullback, replaces the frankly inadequate Luke Shaw, right? Chris Smalling doesn't agree a deal with Roma, let's say, and you've got a Maguire-Smalling partnership that goes really well. Cavani comes in and gives that 2016, 2015 Zlatan Ibrahimovic effect, scores some nice goals, a centre-forward that Man United haven't had in a little while. Everything just... Ousmane Dembele comes in on loan or whatever and plays really well. Man United start trouncing teams like they were at the end of the season before, are we now going to forget that they lost 6-1 to Tottenham? You see what I mean? I'm trying to make the point that the Premier League is so competitive, and even the worst teams now are so good and have some seriously talented players in, that results like this should not be a shock. We've seen it already this year. Leicester Man City was 5-3, was it?
Yeah, no, 5-2, Jack.
5-2. My final thing about trying not to be a prisoner of the moment is purely going to be, imagine if Old Trafford had been full for the Palace game and for the Spurs game. I think the landscape of this football team and some of the maybe decisions made around Solskjaer and some of the players, it would have been a hell of a lot different. The fact that fans are banned from the stadium is giving a massive help to Manchester United.
Definitely. It makes it, again, they're obviously losing money when not having fans in there, but I think it makes it a lot easier. I think Ed Woodward, Ollie, they would have felt the pressure,
They'd be losing a lot more if fans were in there.
But as the 6-1 happened, and we're already shocked in our boots, what were we watching? Another thing happened. And this to me takes the cake. The champions of England, former champions of Europe, go to Aston Villa. They were losing Sadio Mane. Alisson wasn't there also, but they go to Aston Villa. You're expecting them 3-1 Liverpool coming there, commanding performance. Yeah. They go to Villa Park and they lose 7-2 to Aston Villa. Now, I don't like using this word. I haven't seen anything like this before, but I generally, in my time in football, for a team, the champions, to lose to a mid-table relegation team, I've never seen that before, Jack. Never.
That's a goal every 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Every 10 minutes. And that's unbelievable. Here's what I will say, though. It doesn't happen very often, but Villa aren't a great matchup for Liverpool. If you think about it, Villa aren't a great matchup. They've got smart midfielders, right, who can kind of buy a foul or once that kind of press comes, when Villa are trying to transition to attack and you've got those Liverpool midfielders trying to win the ball back very quickly, they do now have players in that midfield who can do a nice little move and then set off some of their more pacey players up top. What's the striker's name? The new forward's name? The guy who got
Ollie Watkins.
Somebody like Grealish, somebody like Barkley is capable of receiving that press from a Liverpool midfield, shifting away from it, and then playing a pass for somebody like Ollie Watkins, taking advantage of the fact that the Liverpool fullbacks, push forward so much. Adrian isn't a great goalkeeper. I like the guy, Adrian, the character, but as a Premier League goalkeeper, not good enough. Simple as that. On top of that, the chances that were made available to the Aston Villa players, they finished. And the difference in the game was there were more chances and their finishing was good enough as a percentage of the, finishing chances that they created. But yeah, every opportunity that was given to them, they put it away.
To me, it's a freakish result. I don't see this happening a lot for Liverpool. I do think Liverpool are still a great, great side. They were missing Thiago, Henderson, Sadio Mane, who was a huge, huge miss. People tell me who's the best out of the front three. It's Sadio Mane. He brings so much life to this Liverpool team. And people talk about the press.
Yes.
The best presser out of the three is Sadio Mane by a good distance. You see Liverpool really, really lost that. Alisson, we know the difference between Adrian and Alisson, and like obviously the big error by him was huge. But as a Liverpool fan, if you're a Liverpool fan, you don't want to overreact. But the one thing I got from this is that this is not going to be a season where you're going to see Liverpool get 99 points, 100 points. I don't see that happening. The Premier League is actually competitive for once. So Liverpool are going to have to go to games and proper grind it out. This might be one where we maybe get back to the mid-80s, maybe high 90s, maybe 91 this season. But of course, Liverpool are still favourites. Looking on Aston Villa side, looking on the Aston Villa side, interesting, because I had them to get relegated. But as we said at that time, if they bring in signings, things can change. Emi Martinez has came in and made such a huge difference to this football team right now. They're looking like a mid-table side. He has came in, obviously the first game, he saved the penalty. He's commanded his area, and it just gave the back four so much confidence. And by them bringing in Ross Barkley now to play alongside Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish loves playing. He's like a five-a-side player at times, just dropping in, picking the pockets. He was everywhere there. Those two are going to work to an absolute pulp this year, and Ollie Watkins is going to have a treat with those two serving him. Secondly, Aston Villa did score 3 deflected goals, and how many times does that happen in a football game? So
yes.
How much content could you really put in that? But they also had other chances too.
A lot of yes. That's one thing I think that's important to say. I will still maintain. People may disagree with me here, but I will still think that it wasn't that Liverpool were bad. It's that Villa played well. You know what I mean? Like I think that.
But that high line also, Jack. That high line at times was like. And Joe Gomez, he had a tough day at the office.
You can't over push the fullbacks in a team. Like I say, it's a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup. Villa are a bad matchup for a team like Liverpool. They just are, in my opinion. Looking at those players who can beat that initial press, and then because of that high defensive line, just a little ball over or a little ball through, and you're straight there. I will say though, I do like the Grealish-Barkley little combo. I think that's really nice. But yeah, again, Liverpool. Who has the best home
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Liverpool are losing their fans. I don't know what else we can say. So many teams are going to lose out in quite a big way purely because they don't have their fans. They don't have that atmosphere there.
Well. As we're talking about Liverpool, let's talk about their Merseyside rivals, Everton. Now, Everton has been a side that's always been, the little stepson, the people in the basement. We don't really care about them. They're gonna get up. They're just missing this. They have now started with a perfect start to Premier League season, their best start to Premier League season ever. Carlo Ancelotti came in. And we spoke about how great of a manager this is. We're not talking about someone who's just, he's all right. He hasn't quite done it in his career. He has 3 Champions Leagues, the most out of any in the Premier League. He's managed PSG. He's managed Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, AC Milan. The great AC Milan. He knows what it's like, and his leadership style is not about coming in and adapting. He has his own philosophy. No, he adapts to what his environment is. He's came in.
No Maurizio Sarri. No Maurizio Sarri.
No, exactly. No Maurizio Sarri. He's came in. He's brought in Alan. Yeah. Been a brilliant player so far. He's brought in Decore, solid player at Watford. He came in and brought a lot of energy. And for me, the big one this year, James Rodriguez, who's came in and given Everton that bit of spice, that bit of Colombian spice. Remember, you see them in the corner doing the Macarena. I don't know about that, but they have I look at them right now and they have a bit of grit, they have a bit of steel about them. They definitely want to win a trophy this year. That's why they're putting a lot of emphasis on the League Cup. And they got Calvert-Lewin playing out of his absolute socks this year. So, Jack, what do you see Everton doing this year?
They're not a title challenger for me. I may live to regret those words. I still believe, though, that this is a team that could make top 4. I think I might have even had them 6th or 5th in my rankings. I really thought that they would be able to do something this year. What I would say, though, is a lot of things change. The transfer window changes everything. And, James, I don't think it's too ridiculous of me to say we'll probably have a look at our table predictions once transfer window ends.
Definitely.
You can't potentially sign people like, Edison Cavani might go to Man United. Thomas Partey might go to Arsenal. You can't have things like that happen and it not affect the way you think about things. But this Everton team don't have weaknesses. The weakest point that this Everton team has is the England international starting goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. That's the weakest part of your team. The England number 1. We've seen how poor he's been. He's a problem. Rumours suggest that there's going to be a goalkeeper potentially brought in on loan just to make sure he's on his game. I think Paulo Gazzaniga was rumoured to maybe go to Everton on loan just to make sure that Jordan Pickford's at his best. But you've got former Barcelona players, I think 3 of them, right? Andre Gomez, Digne, Yerry Mina, all good players in their own right. You've got that solid midfield. James Rodriguez is the difference maker. Calvert-Lewin's playing so well that Richarlison's got to worry now about how well he's playing. Richarlison used to just be able to do whatever he wanted because he was clearly the best forward at the team. Calvert-Lewin's on track to win the Golden Boot at this point. That's how well he's playing.
Indeed, he is.
There's very few things that scare me about this Everton team, and the fact that you've got Carlo Ancelotti, that when things potentially are going to fall off, that he can just steady the ship, or that when things are potentially looking good, that he can make sure that everybody just, let's calm down, let's work hard, let's keep doing our thing. This Everton team, for me, top 4, potentially, absolutely. It scares me that I'm saying that they're not a title contender this year, and that's saying a hell of a lot.
But for me, it says hell of a lot, but it shows Everton's ambition. I don't think it's to win the title already, but I think it's to give a statement to the rest of the top 6 in that we're coming. I think top 4 is worth the mainly looking at this year, and definitely to win a trophy. They haven't won in God knows how long.
James, I don't know how much time we have left here, but I'm wondering if the phrase top 4, top 6, top 7, top 8, is that outdated now? It feels like we have 10 teams who are potential top 4 candidates.
The Premier League is as strong as it can possibly. This is as strong as I've ever seen it. There's so many tough teams. But Jack, I just want to move on quickly, and I want to talk about Man City. So Man City played Leicester not Leicester on the weekend, Leeds on the weekend. Marcelo Bielsa versus Pep Guardiola. The game finished 1-1. It was an interesting game, but I just want to talk about Man City and their start to the Premier League season. It's a bit of a mixed bag for Man City. Usually they start off with a house on fire, especially the first game of the season, beating Wolves. Played really well, but since then it's been a bit of an unsteady ship.
I wonder if there's a certain Pep Guardiola burnout aspect of it. And I think we've seen it in a number of places. Pep Guardiola doesn't really stay at clubs any longer than about 3 or so years, and I think that's because the intensity of his team talks and of his training and the football intelligence that you have to be a Pep Guardiola player to play in his teams is so high that I think that once you have several years of that, week in and week out, of Pep Guardiola, telling you what he wants, you have to be sharp, you have to do this, we have to play at a certain standard. I wonder if a couple of those Man City players are going like, you know what, leave me alone, I'm done with you. Can we just not? And I wonder if that high level of attention to detail that was there in previous years when they've won leagues and whatnot, I wonder if they're just tired of it now. One thing I would say as well, Pep Guardiola has not made a semi-final, right, of a Champions League while at Man City, or a quarter-final.
Yeah. So I think semi-final.
Semi-final. It's not good enough. So I think that if that doesn't happen again this year, we're looking at potentially the end for Pep Guardiola. I wonder if the players sense that, and I wonder if some big things are going to change at Man City.
I genuinely feel like they'll wait until they sign Messi next season, but I'm not gonna. But let me just leave that. But I genuinely want to talk about with Man City. My biggest thing right now is that Man City to me has never looked at it to me as a great defensive team. Yeah, they always relied on the amount of goals that they scored throughout the whole season. How many times you see Man City grind out 1-0 victories? Losing Jesus was a big miss, but losing Sergio Aguero and the goals he brings, that fear factor he brings, is massive. And now they have Sterling being the main contributor of goals. They need to get Sergio Aguero back in the frame. And when they get him back in the frame, this game that finished 1-1 today finishes 4-1 to Man City.
City, in my opinion, are at their most scary and at their best when they had Dzeko, when they had Jovetic, when they had all those guys kind of competing for that striker position. Yeah. I feel like over the past few, I don't really rate Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus and Kelechi Iheanacho, for me, are both players who I don't know if they've ever scored like winning goals or goals that get them a draw. They always feel like players who the team are winning by 2 goals and they get the 3rd goal. You know what I mean? They're just kind of piggybacking on the success of the team already. I feel like the over-reliance on somebody like Sergio Aguero has been a problem over the last few years, and they have needed that new forward going forward. Now, Pep's tried to bring more goals into the team from Sterling, Bernardo Silva, these kind of players, kind of not right at the front of the attacking line, but that one kind of phase back, the attacking midfielder winger phase of the line. I think that somebody like a Lautaro Martinez or just another dynamic striker, which they could have signed over the last 18 months or so, should have come through the door. And the fact it hasn't, I feel like we're kind of seeing the results of that now.
All right, guys, we could talk about, again, first of all, just give a quick shout out to West Ham. They were absolutely terrific against Leicester after Leicester beating Man City 5-2, coming there and smashing them up the way they did. It was an absolute masterclass from David Moyes and them lot. Obviously, Arsenal beating Sheffield United. Chelsea's new boys coming good. You can see you can see the turnover and the chemistry building. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave for this week. Back into international football for a while now, so we're not going to see you when it comes to Premier League. But it's all right, we're going to cover some more stuff. Stay tuned. We've got some more stuff coming today. Thank you, guys. Box to Box Football. Me and Jack will see you next time.